if your first name is Isaac, you're in the state finals 4 times. I think it's somewhere in the Kentucky revised statutes you have to wrestle for Indiana. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
I'm Isaac Thornton, wrestle at IU currently, and I wrestled at Walton-Verona my junior and senior year, so 2021 and 2022, and then Grant County my freshman and sophomore year.
And, of course, we are referring to, of course, like you said, you wrestled at IU, and you were in the finals 4 times. We'll talk about that more just in a second. And also a good friend of the channel, Isaac Knable, a 4-time state champion from St. Xavier. He wrestled at IU, so you got the Isaac IU connection. That's kind of cool that we're able to make that. But kind of tell us, how do you find wrestling? What gets you started into wrestling?
So I was kind of a wild child. I got in trouble quite a bit as really young. So, and my dad had wrestled a couple years in high school, and he said he wished he would have done it a lot longer. Mm-hmm. So he put me in. I think it was my kindergarten or first grade year, and I just continued doing it ever since, and it worked out. So
you started in kindergarten?
Yeah.
Wow. So you have basically wrestled your entire life?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's cool. That's now that the sport is growing and more teams are popping up, especially high school, middle school. You're starting to see a lot of elementary club style teams, and I'm not saying that that's a rarity to see somebody starting high school or kindergarten, but then to continue on through college, because most guys you talk to that started young, they're like, once I finished my senior year of high school, I was done. I didn't want to do it no more. It was over. It was whatever. So it's cool that you're able to pick up that mantle and go with it. So you go through, I guess, the Grant County Elementary program, correct?
Yeah.
Is that right?
No. I'm sorry. I went to a little elementary school called Piner, but they didn't even have a wrestling program. So my dad drove me to, I can't even remember the name. The program was called Sky. I know that. So Simon Kenton Youth was where.
Okay. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you wrestled elementary there.
Yep. And my first year of middle school, I wrestled it for Twin Hoffel.
Okay.
And then 7th grade year, I went to Grant County, and I wrestled my 8th grade year at Walton-Verona, because they're a club middle school, so I was able to wrestle for them. And then freshman year, Grant County was my first year there.
Okay. Now that's cool to get your progression. Now, let's kind of, I guess, fast forward, if you will, to your freshman year. At the end of this video, I'm going to bestow something on you that I've kind of been keeping in my back pocket. 2019 freshman, 113 pounds. You're in the state finals. You're wrestling Brendan Pye, Covington Scott, and you come up a little bit short. Yeah. 2nd place. I mean, but you were there though as a freshman. There's no shame in. I think it was a 2-minute and 43-second fall. Again, no shame in that. That's. I mean, there are people that would, I'm not going to use the word kill, but I mean, that never even make it to the medal round, let alone make it as a freshman into the finals.
Right.
The 2020 campaign as a sophomore, you are in the 120-pound state finals, and you're wrestling Cole Thomas of Ryle. We'll talk more about that later. And come up a little bit short in that one. 6-2 decision to Cole. In case you don't know, Cole goes on to be a 4-time state champion at Ryle. I mean, wrestling now, I think UTC Chattanooga, or UT, I guess Chattanooga would be the name of it. So you're in the finals as a freshman. You're in the finals as a sophomore. Both times you come up, you're there, but you come up a little bit short. And, I mean, again, making it to the state finals is great, but I would have to imagine deep down you can get on top of that. You can win that gold medal. You know it.
Yeah, that was definitely a burn inside. I felt it.
I can imagine. Now, we're going to skip your junior year, which is this year, the 2022 campaign as a senior. We'll talk about it now just to kind of get it out there, but I want to talk about it a little bit later in the video as well. You are wrestling an old familiar foe, Cole Thomas. And you 5-3 decision. Cole comes out on top. That's his 4th state championship, 132 pounds. But we're going to kind of pause that because I want to come back to it. As a junior, 2021, Miss Rona is running her shenanigans. The world shut down. Everything is restricted. Wasn't even sure if we're going to have a state tournament, let alone a season. You know what I'm saying? Back when everything was going crazy, you couldn't go out of your house and face mask and all that garbage that we never want to have to deal with again.
Yeah.
So coming in, you transfer from Grant County to Walton. I guess in between your sophomore and junior years, correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, I guess the world's still shut down. When you transfer over, do you have any, maybe we're not going to get a wrestle this year? Because a lot of guys have said that, like, man, we were afraid we even going to have a chance to compete.
Yeah, it was definitely a worry, especially to the sacrifice that we were making going to Walton, and it was always a thought of like we might be doing this for nothing. We might not even get a junior year. So, but there was always that, just keep training. What if, So, just try and stay on top of it.
And I guess with every sport, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, soccer, whatever it was. The KHSAA, in my opinion, done about everything they could do to give you guys that season, to give everybody that season, because we were at the 2020 state tournament on that Thursday night before we had the meeting with, like Mike Barron and all the referees and everybody was there. And he said you get like a commemorative like travel bag, you get like a plaque of the state with your name and your state tournament official. And they also give you a whistle that's got like state tournament referee and the year on the side of it. And they had everything but the whistle there. And Mike Barron said the whistles were delayed. There's some type of disease in China right now going on. And that's where we get our whistles from. And production slowed. We're not sure what's going to come of it. And that was February whatever. The Sweet 16 was going on. The girls' Sweet 16 a few weeks later. And then the world shuts down. I mean, the world, you guys lived it. I mean, it shut down. And the teams that made it to the state Sweet 16, boys and girls, they didn't get to compete. The baseball, softball, track and field, none of those got to compete as, going out seniors. And it was still up in the air, are we going to get to have a season? And especially wrestling, I mean, this is the closest contact that you can possibly have. So when, like I said, you make that sacrifice moving over to Walton, are you training every day as if the season, or the coaches telling you, hey, we don't know? Kind of walk us through that.
Well, it was weird to begin with, like with school too, because they were being very careful. We were, we were doing our non-traditional learning. We were back home on Zoom the whole time. And so it was a very different like feel to it, and I think Coach Roth and Coach Moore did a really good job of like talking with the school and like making sure like, hey, are we able to do this? But I remember a couple times there were, one person would get sick and we're like, all right, nobody can show up. You're not allowed. So there were the small hiccups that did make it a little unfortunate.
And Spencer, your teammate in 21, in his video, he says that he said in his video that the 21 season was like kind of like the funnest that he had in school, because like you weren't having to spend all Saturday in a gym. You were getting to, like, instead of going to a bunch of individual tournaments, you guys were doing duels, and it was like we're competing as a team. It's something that we don't get to do a whole lot of, is actually compete as a team instead of individually bracket tournaments. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, the number of I'm a lot of teams I follow on social media, and they were posting like about every other day. Practice is canceled at this school for 2 weeks because we had a wrestler test positive or a coach or whatever. And I'm just like, man, I hate for everybody to miss out. But like I said, give props to the KHSAA and the Kentucky Department of Health and everybody that was involved just to get us, back into the I guess playing conditions. But something about that year was the number of matches you had dramatically dropped. And track has you at 17 matches. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
So you went from 35, 40, 50 matches, whatever it was that previous year, down to 17. So you had to make those 17 count. And of those, what would that be? 3 were the state tournament, and the other 3 would have been semi-state, and probably 2 would have been regional maybe. So what was that, 8 matches? So you may have had, 11, 10 actual non-state tournament, regional tournament matches?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Competing for a state tournament or a state championship, if you will, only getting to have 10 matches outside of practice, man, that's doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I actually, that year had torn my meniscus.
Oh.
And so I was in a bad situation where I had to decide whether or not to get surgery and maybe miss state or not. So it was like that perfect time. I was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it now. So I ended up getting the surgery and shaving down my meniscus, and then came back a week before regionals.
Okay.
And so I pushed it really hard, came back in 3 weeks from surgery, and then wrestled a tournament before regionals, and then wrestled regionals the next time. So.
Wow. And that's, especially, I can only imagine what it was like going to a hospital, having to get probably tested and all that nonsense that we had to go through. But we're going to, I'll cover myself up here. This is your bracket, if you will. That it's got the semi-state and the state championship on it. Let's go through the semi-state real quick. First round, Nicholas Waldridge from Spencer County, and you win that by a tech fall 18-3. The semifinals, if you will, of semi-state, you're wrestling Nolan Banfield, Woodford County, fall in 1 minute and 56 seconds. And then in the finals, you're wrestling Jonah Bowers, Campbell County. You win that by a 5-3 decision. Now, of course, we do have the state results, but we're going to do that when we go through the medals and all that. So we're going to get the medal set. We'll see you guys on the other side. Now, before we show off the medals, let's go over your 2021 state tournament run. Only the top 8, because this was when we had 4 semi-states instead of having the 2. So only the top 2, from the 4 and everybody that made it placed, which was kind of, I guess it was good in theory. It was what we had to do to whittle the numbers down to get the, I guess as the old saying goes, get the match in the ring, if you will. But it was good that, we were able to at least have it. The first round, you start off with a tech fall over Caleb Jarvis of Louisville Fairdale, 17-2, and Caleb goes on to get 7th place that year. You win a 8-2 decision over Jacob Kane of Johnson Central. Jake goes on that year to get 5th place. And then in the championship, you're wrestling Eli Payton from Paducah Tillman. We're not going to tell you the score, but Eli goes on the next year, 138-pound state champion. I think he currently wrestles for the University of Cumberland's, if I'm not mistaken. So you win it, and you get the state, where you hold it, it's yours. You get the state championship medal, and anybody that competed in 2021, 2020 season like that, you should have a special place in your school's Hall of Fame for having to do all the sacrifice, like you said, not getting to go to school, not being with your buddies. And there was a lot of times we went to meets, and we were all in high school once. We all, anytime we got around our buddies, we were a different person than what we were at home. And just to be at a meet and see how happy and I don't want to use the word kids, but seeing the kids get to play with each other, playing like slam ball and throwing football, just doing guy stuff, and getting to be with your friends, getting to see them actually interact with people you normally would interact with in lunch period or class or wrestling practice, and just getting to see how much it means to get out of the house, get to do what you love, was just so fulfilling, if you will. It was great to see. So you got your state tournament medal, your state tournament Kentucky Wrestling Coaches Association plaque. Of course, you guys will see, photos of this. Now, there's a couple things down here that are kind of cool. Pull out that big ring for us. There you go. Big. Of course, you guys will see photos of that, but that's your state championship ring from Walton-Verona, and it's nice. They do that for you, and we'll move this out of the way here. And you guys saw Dalton's plaque like this, and this is yours. It's got your weight. You had 10 pins that year. Regional champion first place, semi-state first place, state championship, of course, first place. And it's got your how we always went over your how you won all and everything. And it's a really cool, just to have, and what it means to, I guess, the coaches realize what it means, and especially having to get COVID tested and all that. Just the 2021 year, the 2020 year is going to go down in history as some of the craziest times in American history, what we all had to go through. But then you add school on top of that. You add competing on top of that. It was just a weird time, and it has paid off for you. You are in the state finals. We have the video, of course. Now we're going to get our TV set. We're going to go back to George Rogers Clark High School in Winchester. We'll see you guys there. You guys are seeing what we're seeing. We're at George Rogers Clark High School in Winchester, and this year, in case you don't know, we moved out of the horse park into the high school just to limit the number of people. And like I said, may not have been, it's a great facility. GRC's a phenomenal, probably one of the biggest high school buildings in the state. KHSAA done what they had to do to get the tournament on, and kudos to everybody involved at GRC and the KHSAA for making it happen. But we're at GRC back in the high school, first time since 1995. State tournament's been in a high school. So you're in the finals, fourth time. Well, I guess this will be your third time. Third straight year, I guess it is. And you come up short the previous two. This year, who could have ever imagined what we had to have gone through to get here? When you win your semifinal match and you're going to the finals, are you like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, the Incredible Hulk? Nobody's beating me when I get here.
It was definitely a different year because I was a lot more calm. I was like, all right, I won my semifinals match, and I was just trying to keep my head. It's like, all right, you've been here a couple other times before. You know what you're doing. Just wrestle. So.
No, and it worked. Whatever you thought process or mental visualization you were going through, it worked because, of course, that's the purpose of the video, is that you win. But I guess I don't want to say the burning desire because that's such a clickbait word, but like, did you know this was your year?
I think other than my freshman year where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I made it,
Mm-hmm.
I thought every year was my year.
Okay. No, that's a fair.
Yeah, but there was definitely like I said earlier, like a burn. There was like all right, if I get second again, I don't know, I'm gonna kill somebody. But
All right, well, let's go back to 2021 GRC. Let's go. Like I said, Eli won it, the 138 next year. So phenomenal, two phenomenal guys going at it here. You got Rocky on the whistle, nice sprawl right there, and you got Fry Diddle as your assistant. So what was your go-to takedown? Going for a shot there, pulling that ankle in.
At the time, it was a misdirection low single and a double leg.
I'm gonna turn us down just a smidge. Misdirection, double leg. And in Cole's video in 2020, You were really good with snaps.
I was gonna say. Also, snap down and go behind was very. Yeah.
He actually says that in his. He's like, man, stay with his snaps.
Yep.
All right, is this the first time you wrestled Eli?
Yeah, ever.
So I was gonna say, man, Northern Kentucky and Paducah are opposite end of the. So he's been able to defend. You've been able to defend really well. He's in on something, but I don't see him getting it. You got a whizzer in. He lifts, out of bounds. I don't think he was going to get that anyway, even if it would have been in the center. And you had Spencer win just a couple matches before this. There it is. Been a very quick moving first period. Already almost to the... All right, so that's the end of the period. 0-0. Got more over there.
Yeah, telling me to snap it and go.
Snap him.
Yep.
And you're going to take down.
Yeah. I think a couple times in this video you actually hear my dad yelling as well. Snap him.
So right off the whistle, stand up. Try like a, you guys call that a pika or kamikaze roll right there? Just a front.
Just a roll.
Just a roll.
Yeah.
It looks like he's doing more to hold you down than he is trying to run any offense.
Yeah.
You're out, hips are clear. Ooh. He's trying to lift. Nothing.
Just trying to stay in bounds right there. I don't want him to drive me out.
That's something in doing this series, being able to have to cut these videos down, is the times that guys may be on top. Instead of running offense, they're just trying to hold on. They don't want to cut. They're like just holding on for dear life. I'm like, man, alive.
I was trying to do a good job of continuously moving the whole time just to try and tire him out. He actually got a bundle right here, which did make me a little nervous. So I used the out of bounds line on that one.
That's smart. Hey, smart. So you're still down. Is back up to your feet. Another roll. Is that something that?
My coach now, Angel, has taught me how to do that better. So I've been hitting it a little bit more in college.
Well, good call, Rocky. Yeah, we'll talk more about your college at the end of the. There's some other things I want to discuss with you. There it is. Turn your hips over. Nope. Nice job right there. Nice escape. One, we're neutral.
At this point, I knew I had to keep that pressure, just try and make him tired. So that was something I was a lot better at in high school. I mean, I think I'm still good at it, but is just continuously moving.
Right.
Got a little worried here. This was a scary situation. He had my leg, but I was able to...
Nothing.
Drive through that.
Time. So you get a takedown and I believe a 2 count.
Yep.
All right, so you're going into the third period, his choice, but you're up 5-0.
Yeah. I think at this
he's
point
gonna take down.
Yeah, my head game changed a little bit because in my eyes I saw him already defeated. I was already okay. Now I know I can win this match. Not that I didn't have any doubt before,
right. No, I got you. I understand what you mean. This is the first time, other than your takedown, that you've kind of, been on top here.
Right.
Are you thinking, cut him and let's just...
I think I was trying to apply that pressure, make him work. So
And it
not,
got you
not
for
give it to
stalling,
him for free. Yep.
which that was the right call.
Yep.
Because, like, talking to a lot of guys that watched your match first time, was like, man, I was wrestling, but I should just cut him. I probably would have been better just to cut him and then try and look with some takedowns, because all right, so you're out to the side, jump over.
I've got a claw in right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I do quite a bit.
It's running. All right, so he gets his one. Still, though. So you're back to the center, man. You're ready.
Yeah. Yep. Trying to play the mind game.
All right,
a
got a
little bit.
caution red. Caution red. And we are.
There's that.
Yep, there it is.
Front
Oh,
headlock.
there it is. Nope, nope.
Oh.
So we got 1 minute left in the bout here. We're out.
Coach Moore getting
Gonna
excited.
say Jason's over there, man, trying to wrestle it for you.
Yep.
You've beat him back to the center every time you guys have went out.
Yep. You can hear my dad right there. Keep shooting.
Keep shooting. Put the pressure on. The table workers for this must be Paducah Tillman.
Here's the double A.
Yep, there it is.
There it was. And that's when I knew, right there, I just felt him stop wrestling. He was
Stalling on red.
I was trying actually really hard right here, something kind of funny, not to, like, smile too much. I was like, all right, I still have some time. There's still, still be safe. But I was getting really excited because, third year I've been in the finals. I finally got it.
And time's ticking down. Crowd's clapping for you. There it is, man. Top of the world. You've earned it. If anybody's earned it, it's you. And this is the year we couldn't, you had to just hold your hand up right there. But, man, 7-1 decision. Does it play out the way you remember it?
That's actually the first time. I think it's the first time I've watched that match back over.
All right, cool.
So it is interesting watching it. I was wanting to wrestle myself.
Yeah, you can't see it on camera. I could tell he was trying to move and put a little bit of extra, like you're playing a video game. Hopefully, you urge Mario not to fall off the block there. But man, you wrestled a phenomenal. You wrestled a match like you'd been there before. I mean, you didn't do anything that was crazy. You didn't try anything that didn't look to be comfortable to you, and you basically took the match as it come to you. Mm-hmm. And that's the sign of experience. It's a sign of having good coaching. And you can go to every camp. You can go to every single tournament. You can compete from January 1 to December 31. But if you're not in high pressure situations, just going to a tournament, okay, that's good. You get that kind of experience. But being in a high pressure, knowing that this is on the line, knowing that the state championship match is on the line, you can't buy that experience unless you have absolutely lived it. Now, we are going to get a few more things out, and we're going to show a few more things that you accomplished in your wrestling journey. So we're going to get that set. We'll see you guys in just a second. Now, of course, the goal is to be on top of that podium or stand for this year under that number 1 placard. But now you've got 3 silver medals, 19, 20, and 22. He was able to, like you guys just watched, in 21 win it. And I said in Cole's video that Cole Thomas had of the 4-time state champions, your Isaac Knables, your JoJo Carrs, Harrison Courtney's, Robbie Clarkston, rest in peace to James Earl Harden, and to Bryce Schaefer from Union County. Both those guys are no longer with us. But part of Cole's, and I said in his video, he had, like I said, the hardest 4 state tournament matches, finals, is because of you. You, in 20, he beat, he gets you in 20, and you come back as a senior with Walton. You guys are in the finals again, same weight class. It could have been probably easier for you to bump up to 138 or, wrestle wherever and avoid him. But you hit him, you didn't run from him. And that's to be commended, in my opinion. And I'm going on record and saying you are the best one-time state champion in Kentucky history that made it to the finals more than once. Who it was that I watched, but it was Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. It was one of the multi-billionaires of the world. And they were giving a speech a couple years prior to like a college class or some type of entrepreneur class. And they said, don't become a millionaire just to say you are a millionaire and you have this money in the bank. Become a millionaire for what it makes you become. And in doing this series, I've become, I guess, the default or the de facto state tournament historian. And I've done my research. I've done, this is like 168 videos now, I believe we've done. I've done the most outstanding wrestler video, the team state championship video. We've got 34 years now of the 60. And I'm saying on this video, you are the best one-time state champion that was in the finals more than once in the history of Kentucky. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do with that what you will. And you made Cole have the hardest 4 matches. Of course, he was only 2 of them, but still, without you, if it had been 2 other people, he wouldn't have had that. And it's cool that, you guys from the same area, you could have easily, avoided him, but you didn't. And that, like I said, that's to be commended. But after high school, you went to the high school national senior division, and it looks like you won it. Tell us about this real quick.
So this was...
Yep, let's pull that bracket out.
This was Virginia Beach Nationals.
Yeah.
Something interesting with IU as well. So I had originally taken my visit there, and I had gone there, checked out the campus, talked to a coach and everything, and he had offered me to be a referred walk-on. So I was like, well, I appreciate that, but school's expensive.
Yeah.
So I think it was, 2-3 weeks later, I ended up going to Virginia Beach Nationals, and I ended up winning it. And I guess my dad had gotten an email from the assistant coach at the time after I had made it to the finals. And he said, hey, we're on our way down there. We want to come watch Isaac wrestle in the finals. So I ended up making it to the finals, and that match was Ultimate Rideout. Turned out to be, overtime, a lot of overtime. So, I ended up winning it, and one of the first people that was there was Coach Surtis, who was recent IU assistant coach now, or was assistant coach. And he said, hey, man, we'd like to get you back down. Let's reevaluate that offer for you. And I'm at IU now, so.
And you are Indiana University, Hoosier. This is what I guess you just finished your first year or second year?
I just finished my first year.
Okay, so you got 3 more, man. And for a school, the student body size of Walton-Verona, to have like you at IU, Spencer at UNC, you had Ryan Moore in the finals 3 times in the NAIA at Thomas More, Mayer at Thomas More. Is there anybody else that I'm missing that's currently wrestling for Walton-Verona that's off the top of her head we can think of? I mean, that's four state champions from Walton-Verona that, Union County may have somebody or may have 4 that are currently, wrestling in college, but I can't imagine there's too many schools in Kentucky that have 4 wrestlers like Walton did this past year wrestling at that level and competing and being in, placing NAI, like you and Spencer Division I. I mean, that's just an incredible testament to what the program that Walton-Verona has going on for them. And, I guess the younger generation, man, you gotta keep up with them, man. You can't you gotta continue the Bearcat tradition, wear that WV with pride, right?
Yep, that's right.
So, you have anything to wrap this one up?
Definitely a thanks to coaches, and I got a really big thanks for my dad. So like I said, he put me in it when I was really young, so I'm appreciative for that. But just the hours driving and the tons of money spent to get me the best stuff I could possibly have. The rest was Spencer, go to Walton, and all these things. So I got a big thanks for him. Really appreciative of that. So.
And that's something too that I'll say this, and we'll wrap it up. Is the miles driven by the parents or guardians or caretakers, having to go every Saturday, whatever, $5-10 to get in, and you're staying all day in a gym, especially if your kids make it to the finals, the summer camps, I think as of today, I think the FCA camp at Campbellsville starts today, and I was seeing all the teams, taking the buses down, their parents dropping them off. It's a 3-day camp. Just the sacrifice that goes into it. It's not just showing up on October 15th and getting on the mats and wrestling. It ends in February. If you're going to do this, you got to go all out. I mean, you really got, especially now the sport's growing, and you've got to put in summer workouts. You got to put in camps. You got to put in your Virginia beaches or whatever tournament you decide to go to, and let people know, hey, I'm for real. I'm taking this sport serious. I want to continue my education and my athletic career. I don't want it to end coming out of high school. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's cool that he's able to thank your dad for that. But that's all that we have. Thank you for being here. And Walton-Verona, we got more of you guys coming. We'll see you guys on the mats.